Hey, what is going on? Just gonna be doing a quick VOD review today. Um, this was around like the 2 billion bounty mark, around 500-ish on the ladder, so during my mid-ladder climb. Gonna go over the deck profile real quick. This is my current list, which was modified from Skepbass's list. So I'm on 4 of the Nami Searcher, 3 of the Fat Zoro, 2 Frankie, 4 Usohachi, 4 Zorojuro, 4 Sanji Pudding, 3 of the Rush Luffy, 4 of the Blocker Sanji, 2 Luffy Taro, 3 Dead Man's Game, 1 Zero Cost, 4 Event Searcher, 4 Gum Gum Giant, 3 Bagua, 3 Brochette Blow, and 4 Stage. So I tried this list out at locals, and then my first game, this Brochette Blow came up against the Bonney. But then every other game outside of that, I just like kind of found this card like whatever. So I'm probably gonna end up cutting this, and I think he ended up cutting it from his list as well. But yeah, the current round of regionals is like and nationals is rounding up. So once that's over and the lists come out, I'll probably go over and review those lists. Um, but anyways, yeah, let's just jump into the game. So here I am going against Green Bonney. Opponent has 1 dice roll, but opts to go first and give me second, which was interesting. I start with a 0 cost and 2 searchers, a stage, and the Fat Zoro. And because I have 1 event searcher and then the Zorojuro that I can play on curve, as well as cycle out the stage immediately, I opt to keep. And let me make sure this is on 2 times speed real quick. So opponent plays a searcher and decides to pass. I play 1 of the stages and I play the other searcher. Here, I don't care too much about the counter early game. I just want to extend play since I don't have a Sanji Pudding yet. So fairly certain I opt to grab the Nami. Yep. And then I decide not to cycle the other stage out here for a reason that you'll see in a moment. But let's see. Opponent on 3 most likely is just going to search with the searcher and swing. I think in this spot, like if the opponent double searchers, that's kind of bad for me. But and in that case, I can play the Fat Zoro to clear both, but I'm not sure if that's really ideal. But opponent grabs a Cavendish off of the search. So opponent is going to be able to hit their curve next turn. So, and luckily does not drop a second searcher. Yeah, I swing 5 to get rid of that and play the Zorojuro. Snap grab a Sanji Pudding. I don't really think there was anything else in that stack that was worth grabbing. Opponent plays down set Cavendish. Swing 6. And there's nothing I can really do to interact with it at this time. So, here, I decided I still want to push life at this point. And I decide to actually play Sanji Pudding first. Because I was thinking of another cheeky play I could have done. But I'm not sure. I think the idea was sort of half-baked in my head at the time. So the reason I played this first was I was thinking if I swing 6 with Zorojuro here and the leader or my opponent decides to tap down the Sanji Pudding instead, I think that signals to me that they're most likely going to be playing Carrot next turn. And so what I could have done to kind of punish that was instead of playing down the second Zorojuro for the 4-5-4 play, I could have stage boosted this twice, and then the opponent is forced to stun the Zorojuro in that position, and then they don't really have a the carrot loses a little bit of value that way. The only issue with that is like I don't really have a good follow-up play for next turn, so my the best thing that could have happened was I swing 6 here, I swing like another 7 with my leader, and then I cycle out. I play the stage, so I cycle out another brick to boost this. Um, and then I can play like a searcher to search follow up for next turn. But that means I'm establishing like one less body, so it's definitely an interesting dilemma in terms of like, is that even like a feasible line at that point? But I thought it was one worth exploring. Ultimately, he just taps down the leader as expected, and then I play another searcher. And here, there's a couple options. At this point, probably I'm not gonna grab either of these two since I already have like a Gum Gum Giant and two of the Fat Zoros in my hand. The Brush Up Low could be interesting to deal with Kid, um, but again, I don't think this is necessarily needed if you play correctly. Uh, and then Luffy Taro, I don't really have anything playable off of it, so it's probably not correct here unless I'm just gambling, which um, I guess I could search with the Nami first to find like a Sanji pudding, but I might as well just grab the Sanji pudding at this point. So, uh, and then I probably should have boosted with the stage anyways, just as like a good habit, even though it doesn't do a ton in this matchup, but um, it is what it is. Here, probably the worst thing we can see is Hody, to be honest, because they get to rip cards out of hand next turn, and then they stick like a pretty big body. They're also healthy, so like in this position, I don't think they really care about taking life. Um, think what we can do if they do that though is like maybe answer with the Rush Luffy at this point, but I'm not quite sure. Anyways, they play the Arouge. Um, decide to turn this Cavendish sideways, which is good for us. Like we want to see this at this point so we can start taxing his hand. Um, goes 8 at our leader. I thought this was very interesting from our opponent. I think this definitely should have gone at the Zoro Juro in order for him to um, like going at the Zoro Juro forces me to counter out there, which I could have done, but then I'm losing cards in hand, right? Here, like I don't care about going to one too much because his board's like not that threatening, um, and then this allows me to like kind of pop off this turn. Um, I'm just calculating my dawn at this point. Like unlucky for us, I don't have a dead man's game here, so I'm thinking about what I want to do. Um, Sanji pudding first, and then uh, the Fat Zoro kind of comes in clutch to rest down the Arouge. Like, yes, they still have leader ability and a blocker, but we have 4 swings available to us, so we're gonna rip cards out regardless. And I think the opponent misplays here for some reason. He lets the Cavendish go immediately, which is telling me like they're either Giga Bricked, they're looking to play towards Kid, and they don't mind setting up with the Cavendish, like delaying it and setting up the Cavendish next turn or something. Um, or they have another one in hand. But here, like I start trying to like after that I go after the Arouge because this is the next setup piece that they have. Um, and he counters out, which is interesting to me because all my swings are of lower value after the Cavendish dies, but the Cavendish is a 6k, so it's infinitely easier for him to defend that 6k versus 5k's here. Um, and he lets it go after defending it once, which is interesting. Maybe he didn't want to, or maybe our opponent didn't want to go that low, but he leaves the blocker up, so I'm not quite sure. And I leave one for Giant just in case he tries to like all in with Hody or something. I don't think I'm dying either way, but going to 0 is always a bit scary. Yeah, but as expected, he sets up with another Cavendish. And our opponent is taking a little bit to think. And if our opponent decides to jam at this point, we can also just giant out and make sure our board is 5 wide, so we can just start taxing through life instead of the Cavendish this turn if we don't draw thing. He jams 10 at leader. And again, I don't want to go to 0, so I end up gianting out. So here I'm cycling out this brick because I don't have any other counter events at this point. And then, so I opt to start searching, and then I rip a dead man's game off of the 3 search. If I don't find it there, I still have 2 more opportunities with plenty of dawn remaining, so I was okay gambling in that sense. Because I think from the previous searches, we only saw 1 so far, so, and we've already searched like, what, 1, 2, maybe played like another event searcher earlier. So we've dug through our deck pretty deep at this point, so we're bound to see one, most likely. And luckily we do find it, and then now I can tap down the Cavendish and start taxing his hand again. Do low commitment swings first, so we can save our bigger, so he can't just like free block if I swing 8 with like a Sanji Pudding or something. Then now now our opponent like is just giving up their entire hand at this point, and then eventually has to end up letting it go. They're most likely bricked at this point either, and then in this position where I'm 5 wide, I'm still healthy. I'm floating 4 dawn. I'm kind of bluffing it, but I have a decent amount of counter as well. I don't think there's anything our opponent can play, especially since they have no setup. So like our opponent, I believe, ends up just scooping here. Yep. Yeah, so our opponent didn't really have anything. They're not allowed to Hody here because they just die on the crackback, and that's definitely not enough to kill me at that at this point, unless I'm just Giga Bricked. Yeah, so our opponent honestly should have just gone like went for it with Hody and just swung like 8-8 or something and just prayed I was like Giga Bricked. I mean, yeah, you still lose, but maybe there's certain situations where I'm just like super bricked. But other than that, they don't really have any outs at this position. I can't think of a single card that saves them, or any combination of cards, to be honest, in this spot. So I do think this is probably like the cleanest game against Bonney I've played so far, where everything went pretty well. I can't say for sure whether our opponent was like bricked or they misplayed. They probably did misplay a bit, but I think like if you play similarly how like I did here, like this has been sort of my win condition against Bonney most of the time, and it's been working out quite good for me. But I don't know. Once the players get better, maybe it gets a bit harder, or it probably does get a bit harder. But anyways, yeah, like I said, once the regional and national results come out, I'll probably go over other deck lists. I think I will be tweaking my deck list soon as well, because I've been playing in store regionals and I've just been bricking like shit. So my ratios are honestly probably a bit off. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.